Good morning, students. Welcome back to session number 32 on the subject network security. In today's class, we'll discuss about the concept like primes, primality testing, and factorization, which are most widely used in cryptographic system. The main objectives of today's session is to introduce the concept of primes, primality testing, and factorization, which are very much essential for cryptographic algorithm design. And we also study how these concepts are used in cryptography. At the end of today's session, the student is expected to understand the term prime, primality testing, and factorization. Student should be in a position to understand these terms and also how these terms are used in cryptography, or what is the necessity of these concepts like prime, primality testing, and factorization in cryptography. Let us start with the definition of primes. In your high school, you might have studied the definition of prime. What is a prime number? Any number which is divisible by 1 and itself is called as a prime number. In other words, prime number does not have any other factor other than 1 and itself. For example, you consider the number 11. 11 is divisible by only 1 and 11. You can't divide 11 by any other number. So it does not have any other factor. Hence, 11 is considered as a prime number. Similarly, 13, 17 are also prime number. While the number 12, here what happens is number 12, in addition to 1 and 12, it has other factors like 2, 3, 4, 6, etc. Hence, 12 is not a prime number. 45 also has a factor like 3, 5, 9, 15, etc. So 12, 45, 100, they are considered as, they are not prime number. In other words, if the number is not a prime number, it is considered as a composite number. Prime numbers are central to number theory. Number theory, we can see the concept of prime number widely used, and we can see the applications of prime number in many algorithms in cryptography. What do you mean by prime factorization? The process of writing a number as a product of many prime number, we call it as prime factorization. Example, you consider the number called 65. 65, we can write it as 5 into 13. So 5 into 13 gives you 65. Here what happens is 5 is also prime number and 13 is also prime number. Now I am expressing 65 as a product of two prime number 5 and 13. Similarly, 91 I can write it as 13 into 7, where 13 and 7 are prime number. In general, any number n could be written as a product of many prime number like f1, f2, f3, etc., where each of these f1, f2, f3 are prime numbers. It is more difficult to express the number as a product of prime number than multiplying the prime number to get the number. Example, you consider a number called 300 and 3600. It could be expressed as 2 to the power of 4 into 3 to the power of 2 into the 5 to the power of 2, where 2 is also prime number, 3 is also prime number, and 5 is also prime number. In general, any number can be expressed as a product of powers of some prime numbers. What do you mean by relative prime number and GCD? Two numbers A and B are said to be relatively prime number if they have no common divisor apart from the one. So you can't find any common divisor which divide both the number. Suppose A is one number and B is one number. For these both A and B, the only common factor is 1. Other than that one, don't have any other common divisor. Such a number, such a pair of number, we call it as relative prime number. For example, 8 and 15 are relative prime number because the factors are 8 are also 1, 2, 4, 8, because 8 is divisible by 1, 2, 4, 8. Similarly, the factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5, 15. When you look at this one, the common factor is only 1, because hence 8 and 15 are considered as relative prime numbers. Conversely, there is another concept that is most widely used in crypto system, that is called a GCD, greatest common divisor. How to obtain that? So in order to find the GCD, we need the concept of prime numbers and expressing a prime number is a product of many prime number. For example, you consider the number called 300. 300 I can express it as 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 2 into the 5 to the power of 1, where 2 is prime number, 3 is prime number, and 5 is prime number. So 300 I can express that 2 cube into 3 square into 5 to the power of 1. Similarly, 18 I can express that 2 to the power of 1 into 3 to the power of 2. 3 to the power of 2 is 9, 9 into 2 is 18. So now how to find the GCD of 318? First, For 300, the factors are 2 to the power of 3, whereas 18 has only 2 to the power of 1. So in that case, the minimum one is 2 to the power of 1. You write it as 2 to the power of 1. Next, you go to 3 square. Both will have 3 square as a divisor. In that case, factor. In that case, since the common, the 300 also has 2 to the power of 3 into 3 square into the 5 to the power of 1. 18 also has 2 to the power of 1 into 3 square, means for the first one, 300 has 2 cube, whereas in 18 we have only 2 to the power of 1. The least one is 2 to the power of 1. When you come to the next one, 300 has 3 square. 18 also has 3 square, means then you can write 3 square. Last one, 300 has 5 to the power of 1, whereas 18 has no other factor. It is equal to 5 to the power of 0. The least one is 5 to the power of 0. I can write as 5 to the power of 0. That becomes 6. So the GCD of 318 will be 6. There is one famous theorem used in cryptography that's called as Fermat's theorem, that is mainly used for checking primality testing, useful in primality checking and for also for public key generation. It says that if P is a prime number, then for any integer a, the number a to the power of p minus a is a multiple of p. If p is a prime number, I repeat again, if p is a prime number, for any integer a, the number a to the power of p minus a is a integer multiple of p. Let us try to understand this one through some simple example. If a equals to 2, p equal to 7, then what happens is a to the power of p minus a is a multiple of p. We check whether it is positive, it is true or not. A to the power of p, that is 2 to the power of 7. 2 to the power of 7 is 128 minus a. So 128 minus 2 becomes 126. 126 is a multiple of p. So we have to check whether 126 is a multiple of p is 7. So is it 127, 126 is a multiple of 7? Yes, because it's equal to 7 ones are 7 and 7 8s are 50. So the 18 into 7 is 126. So the theorem says that if p is a prime number and a is any integer, then the number a to the power of p minus a is always an integer multiple of p. If a is not divisible by p, then Fermat's little theorem is equivalent to the statement that a to the power of p minus 1 is a integer multiple of p. If p is divisible by p, previous statement holds good. If a is not divisible by p, then it's called as a Fermat little theorem that says that a to the power of p minus 1 is a integer multiple of p. In the previous case, it is a to the power of p minus a is an integer multiple of p. If a is not divisible by p, then a to the power of p minus 1 whole thing minus 1 is an integer multiple of p. Then primality checking. How to check whether a given number is prime or not? The algorithm which checks whether a given number is prime or not, we call it as a primality checking algorithm. In your previous classes, you might have studied program to check whether a given number is prime or not. Suppose I want to check whether 20 is prime or not, mean then we start dividing from 2, 3, 4, up to 19. We can check it. That is 2 to n minus 1. One simplest and the most effective way is you check all the factors from starting from 2 to square root of 20. What is the square root of 20? Square root of 20 is less, I think less than 4. In that case, we can check it for only 2, 3, etc. 2, 3, 4. If it is not divisible by 2, 3, 4, then it's not a prime number. And there are some famous algorithm for checking primality checking. One is Miller's-Rabin test algorithm, Fermat's algorithm, Solovay-Strassen algorithm. In our next class, we are going to discuss about the other two algorithms. The first algorithm, Miller's-Rabin test algorithm, we are going to discuss them. It is in one of our next sessions. Let us have some simple multiple choice questions on today's class. An example for co-primes, 11, 19, 3, 5, 11, 13. All of them are co-primes only because the common factor is only 1. Miller's-Rabin test algorithm is a primality checking algorithm, co-prime checking algorithm, encryption algorithm, none of these. It's used for primality checking. The correct answer is A. Fermat test is useful in public key generation, primality checking, both A and B, and none of these. We can observe from the PPTs, Fermat test is useful both for public key generation and primality testing. The correct answer is C. So these are some of the regular reference books on the network security topic. With this, I will conclude today's session. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.